What's good, everybody? I'm here to talk about Emolga's buffs and changes in this hack. Nothing absolutely too crazy, because at the end of the day, I do try to keep these buffs a little bit more reasonable. And so, Pokemon that look weaker are not. I'm not gonna eat it for. What I'm trying to say is I'm not about to give Emolga base 120 special attack or something crazy. Obviously, that would be really great, but 107's already like generous, to be honest. Similar to all the other Pika clones, though, Emolga is extremely fast. In fact, that is probably one of Emolga's best traits, is just how absolutely fast it is. In a ROM hack like this, speed isn't as important because priority is very widespread, but it's still really good nonetheless to be super fast. Emolga doesn't even need to run speed investment a lot of the time to outspeed certain trainer fights, because you do have access to those infinite EV training. You can check out, for example, say the fastest Pokemon on the opponent's team has base 110 speed, then all you got to do is just speed creep, and then you can put the rest of your EVs in HP or special defense or something, because you do have a very respectable base 90 speed F stat, which can be very good with all of the great debuffing moves you have, which are good in game. But I'm trying to show the speed tier guide. Sorry, I'm getting a little sidetracked. As you can see here, base 138 is in the top 5% of Pokemon in the hack in terms of speed. Obviously, there'll be more and more added to this as I go on, but in general, that's an incredible speed tier. One of the fastest non-mega Pokemon, only outsped by one. Currently, what can I do quick math? 5, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Only outsped by 14 Pokemon currently. Of course, there'll be probably about 20 overall that outspeed it by the end of this all. Maybe more, actually, but it's definitely in one of the fastest Pokemon in the game, which is great. And that's one of the main stats that actually fits Emolga. It's a little tiny baby electric sugar glider thing, so therefore I think it should be really fast. That's its main asset here. And then of course it is very strong with the ability Galvanize. Galvanize works great with Hyper Voice and Hyper Beam, especially. Hyper Beam is essentially normal type Draco Meteor now, 160 base power, however, which is incredibly strong. So with Galvanize that becomes 192 base power. That's an absolute nuke, okay? And then Hyper Voice is just reliable, 114 base power, spammable, 0 drawback stab right there. With Galvanize coming up on his own special attack is pretty damn good. You also have very fast Volt Switch or Parting Shot, which is awesome. You have solid coverage. Fun fact, they actually got Energy Ball and Solar Beam in Gen 8, so I just added those in. But it's kind of interesting that they got Solar Beam in Gen 8. I don't know why they put that on there, but fuck it, he got it already, so why not just throw it on there. Flash Cannon, some good coverage, just very strong 110 base power. Energy Balls, very obviously useful. Signal Beam, all those kinds of nice stuff. Focus Blast, blah, blah, blah. You have very powerful Electric Stab. Outside of Galvanize as well, with something like Electro Outburst late game, which is 180 base power, which is even stronger than Zap Cannon, which is 150 base power. Zap Cannon is the same as Hyper Beam, while Electro Outburst actually drops your special attack stat by 4 and only has 3 PP, but it's incredibly powerful. It's literally a Z move that you can click several times throughout the game if you just, for example, you Electro Outburst and you Parting Shot out, and then you switch Parting Shot back in later and you do it again. In game, that's very, very easy to do. It's also a great utility Pokemon. Like I said, you have stuff like Charm, Strange Impulse, buffed Nuzzle, Party Shot's huge. It's just really nice. It's just a nice, strong, fast utility Pokemon. And your other ability is very useful as well, and Lightning Rod. Also, Electro Ball is great on Emolga, not just because its speed set is inherently good, but because Electro Ball now gives you a +1 speed boost each time you click it. So after one Electro Ball, the damage calculation formula is pretty garbage. So even on the first use, you're probably not going to be getting more than like 80 base power versus most Pokemon. But then after that, you absolutely start snowballing out of control, and you can get very reliable 150 base power Electro Balls, which is why it only has 5 PP. Let me triple check that I did make it 5, because if it doesn't, I should make it 5. Yeah, it has 5. Just so you can't absolutely sweep every trainer fight by spamming Electro Ball, but it's still very strong, and you can definitely get a snowball going there. Nasty Plot's obviously huge. Honestly, I don't know why it doesn't have Nasty Plot normally. The other Pika clones do, so it's kind of weird that Emolga didn't. They bothered to give it fucking Solar Beam but not Nasty Plot in Gen 8 when fucking everything got Nasty Plot. Kind of weird. But anyway, yeah, Nasty Plot's great. Keep in mind, setup PP is nerfed. Not to mention the strong priority moves in general are definitely going to check the fuck out of Emolga and any fast offensive Pokemon, because my man has 60 base defense and 60 HP. I do try to keep HP based more on size now. Spadef does make sense for Emolga. It's an electric little guy, so I think having a good Spadef stat makes sense. But yeah, keep in mind that this ROM hack you do have access to infinite usability capsules, so not only can you switch around your EVs whenever you want, you can also switch around your TMs and tutor moves, and of course your abilities. So I've balanced every Pokemon to have 2 good abilities that you can switch between. Lightning Rod is very useful. Very, very useful, because you, again, can just bait the AI into using an electric type move, switch it in, get that special attack boost, and in general, electric flying type that's immune to electric is nice. Rotom Fan has Motor Drive as one of its abilities, so that's also there. It actually has Aerolate, so it's kind of like a little, and they're also pretty similar stat-wise. You could argue, well, you wouldn't even argue Rotom Fan is better in every way besides speed, and speed is a pretty big deal though. So yeah, stat-wise, of course. And of course, Rotom Fan doesn't get a lot of the utility moves and other stuff that Emolga does. So yeah, Rotom Fan. Did I say Rotom Heat again? I don't know why I keep saying that. It's a bit late for me right now. I should probably go to bed, but I wanted to record this before I went to bed. So yeah, otherwise, really good stuff. Fast Encore is nice for in-game stuff. All of this stuff is balanced for in-game. I don't know why I'm saying for in-game. This is all balanced for in-game use if you are new here, which is why a lot of the crazier stuff might seem pretty nutty. Calm Mind's also decent, but it's situational. You do have stuff like Parabolic Charge and Roost, so you could run a Calm Mind set and take some special hits and get that going. Calm Mind actually has more PP than Nasty Plot, 1 versus 3, so you can actually get up more special attack boost with Calm Mind technically if you have a good matchup versus whatever's on the field right now. However, setup, like I said, is nerfed in a lot of different ways that you can check out in the description. By the way, moves in general, like I already kind of covered, are very different in this hack. 600 plus moves have been buffed or changed, so definitely give those a look. I have a very detailed move sheet here on the Google Sheet in the description, so definitely give that a look. Honestly, if you listen to this far into the video, you probably already know that, so I should probably save my breath. Otherwise, it's really good in the rain. Buffed Damp Rock gives you 6 turns as opposed to 3 turns, so you can run Rain Dance plus Parting Shot into your Emolga, and then you can get off of those Thunders, Hurricanes, and Weather Balls with your 138 base speed. That's super cool. And Volt Switch, it's like a perfect set right there, really. Or like Energy Ball. I mean, the thing is, in-game is more like Draft League, so you can kind of tailor your moveset for every specific little trainer fight coming up. That's kind of by design, so yeah, that's about it. There's a couple other really cool things here that I could mention, like Commotion is nice over Hyper Voice for earlier in the game because Hyper Voice is only in the Ula Beach tutor. So Commotion is 10 base power weaker, so it's with Galvanize, it's 102 as opposed to 114. However, Commotion always confuses the opponent, which is pretty cool. And then you have Swift, which is priority, but honestly, you have Shockwave there. It's 11 base points weaker, but you don't need to run Galvanize with Shockwave, and it's also reteachable, while Swift is not. Swift is just there for flavor, and I guess if you really needed the strong priority on a Pokemon with 138 base speed, then you can use it, but you don't need that priority. It's just there for if you need it. Yeah, that's about it. Strong stab moves, very good Pokemon overall. Really cool buffs for Emolga. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, definitely make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I would appreciate that. Share it with your friends, all that good stuff. Thank you so much for listening. Peace, everybody.